Greetings to you all this evening. So I'm going to do a video tonight on something that's occurring mid-April, and this is really important, although there's several qualifications to keep in mind. So what I noticed, first I'll preface this all planets direct election art of timing video with the nuance that recently around the Aries vanishing point, March 20th, 21st, 22nd, I noticed there was a very strong impulse in the collective to begin things. Many of us took vacations and just kind of relaxed and just did things that we had been putting off or things that came back to us that was incomplete. You know the drill, retrograde stuff that comes back to you to complete. That was my experience, but I'm very affected by retrograde and several others. And then I notice others attempted to begin a new process at this time and met with all kinds of blocks and stops and starts and suffered real intense emotional fallout or default modes of the past, including some who are reaching culminations in their experiences of addiction and really things just got if those of you who've noticed, just to kind of review the recent couple weeks, when the Venus star point conjuncted the Sun, Neptune creeped up into the early degrees of Aries as well. And you notice that things were just not clear. A lot of confusion, a lot of not knowing what's what you're doing, what the hell's going on. And I got a lot of clients this month because of this chaos. And I did prepare everyone who's been watching my channels for this month and particularly for this Aries vanishing point, where, as I said, things will be emerging and disappearing, as well as a lot of confusion with the North Node in Pisces and Neptune and other planets having conjuncted that point and continuing to conjunct it or just passing through. And so I want to present the solution for those of you who've struggled and have not been able to successfully complete something you may have began this month. I implore you, especially if it's ruled by Mercury. It really will depend. If it's ruled by Mercury and Venus, and or Venus, then whatever electional event you are attempting to begin or initiate this month probably suffered enormous setbacks. So what we're looking at is when you decide to start something, we're looking at in astrology, we do something called election charts, and we're able to give you the correct day or options of when to initiate that event. It could be a surgery, it could be wisdom teeth pulled out, it could be when to have a wedding, could be when to start the job, it could be when to sign the papers on the new apartment or the new or buy the new house, or these are all very important events. And I feel it's important to stand your ground and ask for what you need. I remember years ago, I refused to sign for an apartment. I told the person that I'll sign it, but it'll be in a couple weeks. And he was actually okay with that. It was amazing. I paid, I did the other things, but I didn't sign it. Now, I don't know, the effect of that. Perhaps I was just assuaging my mind, but because it did turn out that I did leave a year later, but that's kind of the way it's been with me. So I don't know how much that affected. Nothing incorrect happened at that place. It was fine that I can remember. And so that's my example. So what it is I'm proposing for those of you who are trying to start something new or want to initiate something and you're not clear on what it is you want to initiate, then my suggestion is to consider these dates. Now, before you consider these dates, I'm gonna say that I say a couple things. One is Venus and Mercury go direct this month, and they're the only planets that are going retrograde right now. So what that means is that as soon as Venus goes direct on the 12th, because Mercury will go direct on the 8th, I think. And so on April 12th, Venus will go direct. However, that's on the full moon. It's particularly not the greatest full moon in the world. It has a potential to cause a lot of disruption because of the aspects that it has. Um, and and so if you're planning to reinitiate something new, I would suggest to do it between the dates of April 15th, 16th and May 3rd. And or to schedule surgeries or events, during that time period there. Now, of course, I'm not telling you to become your own astrologer and saying, that it'll be fine whatever you go through. I'm not a medical professional. Um, my this is not medical advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a please consider consulting a medical astrologer or a medical professional, of course, for any serious procedures. And so, yeah, just know that for initiating events like purchasing something, selling something huge, um, a big event, that it might be more successful if initiated during this window. Uh, if you want to get into the particularities of electional astrology, then you first figure out what planet rules the event or what it is you're going to be doing. That's just as important because, it could be that Venus is retrograde. Say I wanted to buy a car. Now, Venus in retrogrades, it's not going to bother me. But Mercury, I'm going to need Mercury being direct and strong because Mercury rules communication, transportation. And so I'll need Mercury direct. So I'm going to look at a time when Mercury is direct. And Mercury is retrograde at least 3, 4 times a year. So it's, it's not a difficult effort to look to buy something, between Mercury retrogrades. It's not a crisis, to have the patience. There's higher levels of being able to attempt to align and utilize partnership with the planets for what you want. And that's much deeper. That has to do with talismanic magic, um, which is another uh, aspect of astrology, another discipline of astrology. But what I'm pointing out to you guys is electional astrology. I do electional astrology. And so if you're interested, feel free to drop me an email or line and I'll look at what electional event you have. And the cost right now is not on my website, so you have to email me. I have to have that put on my website. And so that's pretty much it. Again, we're looking at April 12th to May 3rd. And I wish you guys the best this latter half of the month in initiating anything that you want to initiate new. Now, if this is something you started before, then that would be coming about for the retrograde. That's something to clean up during the retrograde planets of whatever rules that endeavor. However, if this is something new you want to initiate into the world, then it'll be a good time, most likely, between those two areas. Now, on May 4th, Pluto will go retrograde. So the rest of the planets will be direct. So what Pluto does when it goes retrograde is it delays transformation. So if you don't need a scorpionic, rebirth transformation type energy, then you can still utilize election after May 3rd. But for the broad generalizations of whatever you're into, it looks like a good time. Of course, it doesn't mean it'll be a good time. Like there could be additional aspects, and for that you need homework done. And you could do the homework, or you can have an astrologer do the homework to make sure the moon is also in the right position. The other major factor of electional astrology is making sure that the moon supports your endeavor. So you want it in a sign that's supporting your endeavor as well. If possible. And the electional astrologer will always give options. So hope that's helpful. If you guys have additional questions, be sure to put it down in the comments. As always, thanks so much for watching and the best to you.